The following is a Joel Michalec production.
Live from the Network Operations Center of QYB Radio Network, welcome to Tech Talk, the show where we turn geek speak into everyday language. Have a question? Call us. Our number is 443-836-0171. Now, without further translation, here is your host of Tech Talk, Chief Linguist, Joel Michalec.
Good Wednesday evening to you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Tech Talk Live. I am Joel Michalec on the eve of Thanksgiving. Actually, should I say, because we're a global show, Thanksgiving Eve here in America. And welcome. Ron is unfounded this evening. So I will probably be joined later on by my producer, Mr. Tony Richards. Phone number to call in if you'd like, 443-836-0171, 443-836-0171. Also, find us at Facebook.com. Look up Tech Talk Live. You can stop by our website at QYBRadioNetwork.com and check out the website there for all kinds of information on live shows and podcast shows, and also the shop box where you can deliver a message to us that way as well. So the various ways that you can get a hold of us. It is Tech Talk Live, and that's what we do here. We're live and we talk tech. So pretty neat title when you think about it, because the title explains everything that we have going on here. Later on, we do want to talk about what I want to talk about cloud computing, kind of talking about what cloud computing is. And some people will be surprised when they find out that they're doing some form of cloud computing already. So that'll be the later on in the show discussion, because we typically start out talking about all the bad stuff going on out there. And this week would be no different from any other. And why would it be? Of course, we start off the program with the scam alert from the desktop of Mr. Ron, or Mr. Ron's desktop, as we call it. And so he's not here, but he's here in spirit because he still delivers his portion of the program. So this one is it's called the virus that holds your smartphone for ransom. Now, of course, we talked about ransomware before. It's it's one of the worst things I think you can get. And now they have found a way of some form to get your cell phone, which is new ground that they're stepping into, because it was bad enough that there was these ransomware viruses that would actually lock you out of your own computer. Well, now you want to be careful of this scam alert. Okay, how does it work? You're using the internet on your smartphone, and suddenly the browser freezes and a pop-up appears saying, "Warning, iOS crash report due to a third-party application. Your phone iOS crashed." And then the pop-up will instruct you to call customer support. The number will be listed there, and they'll say immediately to get this issue fixed. So if you call the tech support number, the staff will offer to fix your phone for a fee, okay? Now, reports from people saying that they were scammed for about $60 on this. And this type of malware is a string of ransomware. They freeze the device, and they prompt you to pay money to get it unlocked, or fixed, as they say. So, excuse me. You may remember when we talked about ransomware on previous episodes of Tech Talk Live, that we talked about how ransomware gets into your system and it encrypts every file in every drive and share and folder in your system. And God help you if you're on a network, because it will infect all the shares. So, and then they would hold you ransom for several hundred to several $1,000s to get your files decrypted again. So most smartphones don't really have a lot of files per se. So what this ransomware does is it infects the phone, locks it, drive in the browser to tell you that you have to call tech support, and tech support will fix it for you. And really what you're doing is you're calling the scammers, and you're being held ransom for $60 or so to be able to unfreeze your phone and get access back to your phone. As I said, just another string of that nasty stuff called ransomware. So how can you protect your mobile phone from ransomware? Well, the National Cybersecurity Alliance offers some suggestions for keeping your mobile device clean of viruses and malware. Protect all devices connected to the internet. Computers, smartphones, gaming systems like your Xbox, tablets, and any other web-enabled device, they all need to be protected from viruses and malware. Download operating system, app, and security updates as they are available. And you should get notifications whether you're in Windows, Mac usually does it silently without you knowing it, or on your phone. So when you get notifications that something needs to be updated, you need to do that. There's reasons for that. Be cautious. Secure your phone and other devices with a password. Make sure you protect your privacy. Review privacy policies before you download a new app. We talked about that before because you never know what an app is doing on your phone. Most specifically, many of the third-party flashlight apps out there. Why is it they need access to your microphone? Why is it they need access to so many things? You're a flashlight. All you're supposed to do is click on my flash bulb permanently while I have you in the on position. You should not need access to 16 other functions of my phone. This is why I tell people that the flashlight that comes with your phone, whether it's an Android or an iOS, is adequate enough to be a flashlight. You don't have to have a flashlight app that has 16 different flashlight colors and sends out Morse and SOS. Well, maybe the latter is useful. But anyway, be savvy about Wi-Fi. When you're online through an unsecured or unprotected network, such as like a public one or you're at a hotel or whatever, be cautious about the sites you visit and any information you release. Very importantly to note would be banking information. When in doubt, don't respond. Scammers may reach out by email, text, voicemail, or even social media posts. Be very cautious giving out personal information and never share account numbers. Remember, no matter who it is you have an account with, they're not going to text you and ask you to send a text of your important information so they can check on whatever it is that they're checking on. To learn more about this and other scams, you can visit bbb.org//scam. And for more about protecting your mobile devices, take a look at Stay Safe Online. That is Stay Safe Online. And I want to give you that website. Of course, we'll have it on the blog. But it is staysafeonline.org. And it's actually powered by the National Cybersecurity Alliance. And it gives you tips and tricks on keeping your mobile phones and smartphones. Of course, I guess a smartphone is always a mobile phone, but not every mobile phone is a smartphone. Interesting. Just something I thought of when I said that. But this website will give you some tips and tricks on how to keep them safe. So there you have that. Also, we talked about the fact that the holidays were getting closer, I think, a week or two ago. And we started talking about some of the scams that will start coming out. And they're here. I mean, this is the eve of Thanksgiving. And on Thanksgiving, that is the eve of Black Friday. Unless you're in certain retailers, then Black Friday starts tomorrow. And what that means is in about 5 years from now, Black Friday will start actually in August. But anyway, so we're there. We're not on a cusp anymore. We're here. And we're seeing some extra traffic at work in the email system, people trying to get in with their social engineering. And so you got to keep a sharp eye out for that. It only takes one person can potentially bring down an entire network, an entire company, by making one simple mistake. So you want to be vigilant about emails, texts. I got an interesting thing yesterday. My computer, my technology consulting firm, okay, PC Tech Rescue. I'm sorry, I'm very thirsty, very parched. Yesterday, our phone systems, for the most part, are Google phones. And that way they can be answered when we're not around, and the messages that are left are sent directly to the email. So we get it instantaneously, so to speak. And it's interesting thing I got yesterday was a text from somebody, and he says he wanted to know if I fix laptops, and he wanted me to pass his message through the manager, and do I accept credit cards? A very strange text. And I took the phone number that it came from, which was, I think, in Massachusetts. And I ran that through Google. And I got back quite a few hits, and apparently this same guy's name has been making, similar, and basically tries to hit any kind of business establishment with some sort of very bad grammar. Okay, so here we go again. We talked about that before. And trying to scam you somehow. Luckily, doesn't sound like a lot of people have fallen for it. Some interesting stories, though, about how some people tried to say, well, you give us a call at the office, let's talk further. And he doesn't want to talk. He can't talk because he had a surgery that ruined his voice, and that's why he texts. And it was just funny to read some of the things that were going on. But, the first inkling I had was, it sounds fishy. And that's really all it takes on your part. On your part, if you can say to yourself, something doesn't seem right about this text, about this email, about this voicemail, then it probably is not. And that is another thing that has really grown exponentially lately, is the amount of scam phone calls attempted on cell phones. It's unbelievable. And we talked briefly about that about a week or two ago. I mean, I must have cleared over a dozen numbers or blocked from the wife's phone alone. Tony?
Yeah, no, I was about to say greetings to you. I've started getting a lot more of them on my cell phone, and I'm actually wondering if maybe that's one of the reasons why some of the cell phone carriers have actually gone to a more of a unlimited minutes type thing, because the customers are just saying, I'm not paying for this stuff.
I didn't think anybody was in a minutes.
There's still some that are.
Have minutes plans?
Yeah, they still have minute plans for.
I thought they were far by the wayside at this point.
There's still a couple carriers out there that are doing it on the limited usage, for the people that don't use their phone. That's a kind where, the people say the phone is for me, not for you to call me, but for me to call people. So they still have the bottom dollar. They still have the old cheapo plans, as I like to call them, which, but no, I mean, I got a couple of phone calls on my cell phone the other night, and a lot of these things that I'm getting now are these fully automated robocalls.
Yeah.
Where I had a call last night that came in and said, "Hi, this is Ted. Can you hear me okay?" And I said, "No." He said, "Okay, great." He just kept going. I just hung up the phone.
Wow.
So, a lot of this stuff is voice recognition, but when you say no, it's like, oh, well, he's going to keep going anyway.
Yeah, and like I say, fortunately, many of the carriers give you the option to block these kinds of phone numbers, and you really only do yourself a favor by blocking them, and hopefully that other people do too. Of course, as I've said before, it sometimes doesn't. It just ceases to amaze me the amount of people that actually fall into these things. So, I don't know.
But it used to be with the carriers, you only block so many phone numbers, though. So, I don't know how that works either anymore. So,
just taking a cruise around some other things in technology security thing. Android Gmail app security hole. basically lets you be anyone you want online. How about that? Android, they've come a long way, but a lot longer to go. So there's this bug which allows you to pose as anyone when you're sending an email through the Gmail application. And, of course, Gmail has called this a non-issue despite the risk of exploit via phishing campaigns. So the bug was found within the standard Gmail application for Android and needs only a few simple steps to implement its feature, if you want to call it that. In order to spoof your email address and masquerade as someone else when sending an email, you need only change your display name and account settings, which then hide your legitimate email address.
Oh, thanks for telling everybody.
Yeah, well, we got to keep people abreast of what's going on. So, Gmail is on the case, and Gmail is going to warn users when they're about to receive emails from unencrypted sources in the coming months. And that's what's got security people a little upset is in the coming months. So what you're saying is, well, we've identified this issue. And what are you going to do about it? So it's kind of weird.
I just got a notification, speaking of Gmail, last night. I mean, I've been using my iPhone with my Gmail account for God knows how long now. And finally, last night I got an alert from saying, "Hi, you checked your email from a device we don't recognize." I'm like, "Oh, really? I've only had the iPhone now for the last 4 months, and now you're telling me you don't recognize the device?"
I've seen that once in a while. Sometimes I think that's some sort of goofy glitch. I don't know.
No. Maybe they're boosting their security protocols. I hope so.
Well, everyone is, and everyone has to, and that brings us to my next blurb. Amazon now offers two-factor authentication in an effort to make your account more secure. And why not? I mean, strong password is a necessity on a lot of sites, but it's not bulletproof. I mean, it can still come under attack. It can still be hacked. But when you use two-factor authentication, if not more, I mean, I got some crazy authentication going on with my Facebook. I mean, if a computer is logged into that it doesn't recognize, not only do I get a message about it, but my phone will get hit with a pop-up that gives a special code that you need to get any further. So it's in my eyes, and obviously nothing is 100%, nothing is foolproof. I've said that time and time again about anything, but in my eyes, it makes the Facebook that much more protected after I had an issue a couple years ago. So websites that are starting to offer the two-factor or more authentication process, I think, is doing a lot of good for their users and for their safety and security, because it allows them to feel more secure, especially if they're using services with Amazon like keeping your credit card on file because you're using something like Prime or you shop there a lot, So it just ensures that, not only on the front end to you, the consumer, but on the back end too, I imagine helps limit attacks and breaches. One could hope. So if you choose to enable this new feature on Amazon, the process of logging into Amazon will be a bit more cumbersome because you'll have to enter a security code that you'll either generate or receive on your phone, depending on the option that you choose. However, at sign-in, you'll be able to remember a computer or a device, and Amazon will no longer require codes for that particular device. So this is very similar, if not the same algorithm, that they use at Facebook for their two-factor authentication. Very good. Anyway, so that's about Amazon. So if you weren't already a fan of Amazon, shopping on Amazon, what a great reason to go do so. And I do. I shop a lot on Amazon. Well, I say a lot. That's a relative term. For the amount of shopping I do online, a lot of it is done at Amazon. How's that? You know what that equates to, Tony? That means if I shop twice a year online, I'm shopping one of those times at Amazon.
Do you have the Prime Now capability where you are? Is there a warehouse like up near where you are now on Amazon?
Well, actually, I'm about 13 miles from Amazon.
Well, the reason why I ask that is because there's a lot of, Amazon building more and more warehouses. They're offering this new thing for Amazon Prime members now called Amazon Prime Now.
Where they ship it to a warehouse near you?
No, actually, where you can get stuff within like 1 hour or 2 hours.
Wow.
And they're even doing like groceries, including like freezer items as well, like Ben & Jerry's ice cream and stuff like that as well.
Huh. Interesting.
But that's a whole separate app. That's the Prime Now app. You gotta.
Yeah, I know we have Prime. I don't know about this Prime Now, but I'll look into it. I will look into it.
It's going to be an option in certain zip codes, though.
So, okay. Apple's Siri can leak personal data. A new blog post from Trend Micro details how anyone can use voice recognition to gain entry to data on someone else's device, even those protected by a passcode. The blog says once anyone has physical access to your device, they can use voice recognition to call out a number of commands, including those that give access to name, numbers, calendar entries, and more. What's needed is vocal identity recognition or user authentication. The post said Trend Micro recommended that iOS users be careful of who accesses their Siri-enabled devices and advise users to turn Siri off as needed. Apple informed the company that users could disable Siri on the lock screen. Do you have your phone handy there, Tony?
Yes, I do.
Can you put Siri where she can hear me?
Probably. Let me take her off of Bluetooth mode here.
All right. Or maybe you can ask her and just put her up to the microphone.
I could probably do that too.
I just want to know, I want to ask Siri if she is leaking your data. Having a little fun on the show, folks.
Siri, are you leaking my data?
Huh. Maybe she's taking the lead.
She says, I'm sorry, I can't answer that.
See how that's really sneaky. That's really sneaky. So in other words, what you're saying, Tony, is that Siri is pleading the fifth when asked whether she is allowing people to steal your data.
That's what it sounds like.
She's taking the fifth. Siri must work for the State Department. But anyway.
Siri, do you work for the State Department?
This is about you, not me.
I didn't hear that.
She said, this is about you, not me.
Yeah, she's really rewording the questions. Okay, so Apple users, be aware that there is a potential issue with Siri leaking your data. Wow. Okay, and here's a blurb. Technology reaches, whenever you have technology, you're going to have somebody who wants to put bad stuff in it, right? Well, there you go. One of the world's most prolific computer worms has been found infecting several police body cameras that were sent to security researchers. According to a blog post published last week by security firm iPower, multiple police cams manufactured by Martell Electronics came pre-installed with the Win32 Conficker worm. Do you remember that one, Tony?
Oh, yeah.
That was a baddie. That was a baddie from about, I want to say, 6 or 7 years ago. When one such camera was attached to a computer in the iPower lab, it immediately triggered the PC's antivirus program. And then when company researchers allowed the worm to infect the computer then attempted to spread the infection to other machines on the network. So, for those in the law enforcement field who may be listening tonight, there's something to keep an ear out for, Again, they're products made by Martell. And here's the thing about that. Real quick, that time? Yeah. The quick thing about that is sometimes it's not infected. Sometimes companies, either knowingly or unknowingly, get into some sort of deal with another company to load their things in there. And what they don't know is the manufacturer doesn't know that they're actually putting malware into the component. And that's why I say knowingly or unknowingly, because sometimes maybe they do know and the money's just too good to be true. I mean, the greediness. It's always the greedy factor. That's what it always comes down to, doesn't it? So, in this case, Martel Electronics, police body cameras infected, pre-installed with the Win32 Configure B, which was the nasty one. So you got to keep an eye out and watch for that. If you're a tech guy working for a police department that uses body cameras, find out who you bought them from, take a deeper look. Yeah, because you take them off and hook them up to a computer, I would imagine, to pull the data in, whoo, you're in for a bigger ride than you anticipated.
Oh, yeah.
Not cool. So, anyway, this is Tech Talk Live. You're listening to us live. And if you come back in a little while to QIBRadioNetwork.com, which is our website, we won't be live. We'll be in Memorex land. And you'll be able to download the podcast and share it with your friends. Share it with frenemies. That's even more fun. 443-836-0171. That's the phone number, 443-836-0171. You can also find us at Facebook and on QIBRadioNetwork.com. There is a shout box for you to utilize. So do so if you like. You can drop us a line, give us a message, and we'll be glad to get that on the air, maybe even answer a question you have about tech. In the meantime, when we come back, we're going to spend a good portion of the second half talking about cloud computing. So come on back after these messages, why don't you? Right here on the QIB Radio Network.
Tech Talk will return after this short break.
So I use my computer every day. I'm not even sure how I get along without it. But I wasn't prepared for a virus. A Trojan, they called it. One night I'm cruising along, and the next night I can't do anything. I was afraid it was going to cost me a fortune. Boy, was I surprised. They had me back up and running the same day I called them. I really like PC Tech Rescue, and you know what? My wallet likes them too.
Are you troubled by computer problems? PC Tech Rescue should be your very next call. Whether the problem is viruses, hardware, software, or any other issue, they can diagnose your problem and have you back up and running fast. With more than 25 years of industry experience, you can be sure you are getting dependable and affordable service. Call today, 484-429-6061, or email us at pctechrescue@gmail.com.
Getting lost has never been more confusing than with the new Gary Busey GPS audio roadmap system. For only $12.95, you can easily download the Gary Busey voice feature and be on your way.
Okay, at the next stoplight, turn the wheel to the left. Left stands for living every day, fully today. Buddy hop, I got no cordage. There's someone down there, paper clips.
Install it in your existing devices, not only for directions, but also for plenty of choice Buseyisms.
You know, before you make that right-hand turn, you better stay right with the Lord. The Great Spirit is always with your travels. I like jerky.
The new Gary Busey GPS audio roadmap system. Order yours today.
If you're lost, well, now you're found, partner. Flip! Hot dog! Oh, your car smells like gravy.
Hey, Grandma, turn up your hearing aid.
It's fun, frolic, and mayhem. It's the Behind the Mic Show with Joe Michalec. Be there as he tries to answer some of life's most difficult questions.
If you could be any kind of food, what would it be?
Well, that's a little too weird.
That's Sunday night, 8 p.m. right here on the Behind the Mic Radio Network.
Assembly not required.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey, but people in this town call me Maniac.
They call me that because I'm the fastest runner in town. But just because everyone knows who I am doesn't mean I belong. I don't really belong anywhere. You see, I'm an orphan, and I wander the streets just looking for a place that I can truly call home. My name is Maniac McGee, and I'm all alone. Explore new worlds. Read my story in the novel Maniac McGee by Jerry Spinelli. For other great book ideas, visit your local library or log on to literacy.gov. Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Tech Talk Live. I am Joel Michalec. On the other side of the glass is my producer and engineer, good friend, Mr. Tony Richards. 443-836-0171. We're also at Facebook.com. Look us up. Tech Talk Live for the moment. And in fact, when you're listening to this in podcast form, I'll still say Tech Talk Live for the moment. And then you'll hear it on the podcast, and now I'm just doing a vicious loop. QYBRadioNetwork.com. That's where we're at on the web. That's where we are at on the web. And with the shop box area, you can drop us a message anytime. So
they can also email you, can't they?
Yes, they can. Tech Talk at QYBRadioNetwork.com. Network announcement for you. Sunday, December 20th, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, is our QYB Christmas extravaganza. Is basically our Christmas party on the air. And I will be changing my name to DJ Jingles, and I will be playing Christmas music for you for the first hour. So join me at 7 o'clock on December 20th.
DJ Jingle Balls? Oh, my goodness.
And then the Christmas craziness starts around 8 o'clock. So tune in, and if you miss us, of course, it'll be available for download after that. I'm drinking an awful lot over here. Don't worry, it's all non-alcoholic. Okay. Cloud computing.
Is that what they mean when they're talking about when you smoke in the computer room?
Notice I'm not answering that. Cloud computing is also known as on-demand computing, and you'll be surprised. Some of you will be surprised to know that you are doing cloud computing. I mean, cloud computing basically means the service does not reside on my computer, but I can get to it with an internet connection. So when I say that, I'm talking about like one of the most elementary forms of cloud computing. Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail. Any web-based email service is a cloud email. It's a cloud computing. It's email as a service. There is no EAAS right now, but I made that up. Because you have these different algorithms. You know, DAS, desktop as a service, infrastructure as a service, software as a service, SaaS. We have a couple packages that are SaaS, software as a service. Instead of having a major program for, say, our accounting residing on a computer, on a server in-house, we've moved it to cloud computing. The vendor has taken control of everything and put it on a computer out there on the cloud, on the internet. And then all the users connect through a web browser. Just like when you connect to your mail through a web browser. Does anyone use Google Drive, Dropbox, Box.com? These are all cloud computing. Those files really aren't on your computer. There might be a cached version of them or like a shadow copy of them, but when you have Dropbox on your computer and then you put it on your phone, you're really on a Dropbox server because the free account gives you free 2 gigs. Well, obviously it's not on your computer because you have all the gigs you can handle for free on your computer. It's on the cloud. And then your computer and your phone contact that cloud site, and they sync the data so they both have the same thing, depending on whether you're on your phone or on your computer. Basic cloud services. So many people are probably thinking, wow. Tony, I believe we have a couple phone lines that are they PBX hybrids IP at the studio, or are they all POTS?
They're actually, one of them is a voice over IP. The other three here are all POTS lines.
Okay. So we use a voice over IP line. And that is basically a cloud telephone service. What do you mean by POTS line? POTS line is a copper telephone line that comes into your house delivered by the phone company through a series of copper and or fiber wiring.
It's funny because it actually stands for plain old telephone service.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not a joke, folks.
It's not. That is the real definition of that. I said the word a few minutes ago.
Acronym.
So, if you have Vonage, you have cloud telephone service. Because your service is being delivered over an IP address. It's being delivered by internet. And the information, the call information and all that resides on a cloud computer somewhere that you can connect to by a desktop app, a telephone, or your smartphone device. So now you start thinking, wow, look at all the things I'm connected to with the cloud. And that is the scary thing, is look at all the things that we are connected to that are in the cloud. Take your typical iPhone. If you have an Android phone, you got some storage on it, and then you put a storage card in it. You can store files. Look at an iOS. What can't we do with an iOS, Tony? We can't store documents.
Right.
We may have a 64 gig phone, but that's for storing applications and music and stuff like that. We can't store files, documents. We need to have a cloud service hooked up to it, whether that be OneDrive by Microsoft, Box.com, Dropbox, Google Drive, Western Digital Cloud. It has to be some sort of cloud service to store documents.
On an Android phone, though, you do have, and this is what I never quite, I understand the security thing, I guess, with Apple, but like with Android, you could put a SIM card in your phone.
Right.
And you could literally download.
You mean like an SD card?
Like an SD card, yeah. An SD card. And you could download stuff to the SD card and take it out. And, or you could even, if you had a card reader on your PC, you could theoretically even put it into that and actually transfer stuff that way.
Right.
Whereas Apple doesn't give you that option.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I was comparing. Like you and I have an iPhone, but we certainly can't store Excel documents on the phone itself. Like I carry a lot of documents, Excel, Word, things like that with me on a phone, but I have to use Google Docs. I got to use Google Drive to store them in.
Right.
So,
Apple has their version of the it's called iCloud.
Yeah, that's another cloud service. Yeah, but that's another cloud situation. If you're using Google Drive or Dropbox because you have an iPhone and you got to store stuff you need, whether for work or personal, you got to put them on one of these optional drives. They're all cloud. It's all cloud. So now when you think about it, your typical day of technology, how much are you really in the cloud? Quite a bit.
Now, I will say this for Apple, and I don't know if you've had the experience with this or not, but Apple maintains the reason why they do it is because it makes things a lot easier when it comes to migrating from one phone to another and all that kind of stuff. And you back up your data to the cloud and you lose your phone, you haven't lost your data because it's still floating around out there on the cloud somewhere, and then all you had to do is buy a new phone. You sign into it, you put in your iCloud password, and all your apps and all your other stuff comes back onto your new phone.
Right.
So in that sense, I guess it's a win, but I would still not want to have some of my personal data floating around out there. I don't care how well it's password protected.
Right. Well, I know there's a lot of people that have their hesitations about things being stored in the cloud. You know, especially you older folk. Just
kidding. Okay.
I'm kidding. Yeah, I straddle the fence. I mean, I get both sides of the argument, but I'm in technology and I have to go where technology goes. Otherwise, I have no business being there.
Well, I mean, look at what happened, what was it, about 3 or 4 years ago when Amazon's cloud services, the ones that they maintained for how many other companies, had that data breach? And
yeah, because they do that desktop as a service at Amazon.
Right, and it wasn't just Amazon that had the problem. It was all the companies that they sell their data services to, because their cloud got hacked. All those other companies got affected as well.
Right.
So that's something to keep in mind, too, is that just because this company swears by their security protocols, if your data is out there, it is not on your CD-ROM or it's not on your DVD at home. It's out there, and it can be compromised.
Right. So with cloud computing, it's become a highly demand service. And that's because of the advantages of high computing power, cheap cost of services because everybody gets in, and the cloud, let's face it, storage on the cloud is cheap, high performance, scalability, accessibility, and availability. Now, here's a statistic for you. Vendors that sell cloud products, like Google or whatever, they're experiencing 50% growth rate per annum.
Wow.
And that's because sort of everyone's kind of moving to the cloud. And if you don't, you're going to get left behind paying high rates to keep your conventional, what I call CAPEX model. You have your CAPEX and your OPEX. Or OPEX. You know, basically if you keep all your services on your local computer, and let's take it from a business standpoint, servers, that's a CAPEX, a capital expenditure. Lots of money. Cloud services allow you to convert high money into OPEX, operating expenses. Subscription-based, pay monthly.
Well, even there, then, like, for example, one of the providers that we go through, and a lot of people do it, is GoDaddy. And we had a monthly hosting account for one of our domains where I work during the day. And it was just a static web page. It's been up there for probably about, 15 years or something like that, probably by now. And we were doing it on a monthly thing because my boss decided that he didn't want to, and we had email that we were paying, I forget, like $150 a year for 10 email addresses or something like that. But we send out price sheets now through email, and so we wound up with a limited number of sends per 24-hour period. So he said, how can we fix this? I called GoDaddy, and what they told me was now they offer a different kind of hosting plan that instead of paying the monthly $15 a month that we were paying plus the stuff for the emails, where we only had like 10 email accounts, for $65.
Right.
They gave us a virtual server so I can create as many email addresses as I want. I get my own hosting thing, and I get unlimited sends on my email, And I'm like, huh? So, when you're doing all this, that's on the cloud. But, technology has just and it's a heck of a lot faster.
Right.
So technology is, going by leaps and bounds, so that's why everybody's migrating to the cloud and instead of having all these computers in their offices. When you start talking about people doing this stuff, the cost per gigabyte or mega online becomes so infinitesimally small that the cost savings are just, unbelievable.
Right. That is the cloud. That is the cloud. So before you went into that, I sort of forgot where I was heading after that. But it is, like I said, I think you'll find it amazing. As far as what you're probably using, as I said, there's so many things. There is infrastructure as a service, okay, which is the basic model. Virtual machines, basically. And you have platform as a service that allows development environments on the cloud. So you don't have to worry about, storing those kinds of working environments. Software as a service, that's a biggie. Okay. That's where you take something that maybe used to be on your computer or server and you move it to the cloud. You move that whole thing to the cloud and start accessing it through a web browser. You have desktop as a service, and that's where basically a company will you design your desktop on the cloud, and then what you do is you have that duplicated for all your users, and it comes down to, through like a Citrix server or something. So it's another neat thing that we looked at, but, it's not to say we won't look at it again. But there's just all these things known as the cloud. And, when you move out, when you have things going on in the cloud, think about go back to your Gmail. Who's maintaining that mail server? You don't have to do that. Gmail maintains that. They keep it up and running. They keep it maintained. They keep updates going. They scan the email for you. They're doing a lot of things for you. We moved my work company. We moved them from traditional, Pop Mail, Outlook Mail, to Gmail for business. And all of a sudden, I don't have to deal with spam every day, all day long. It's kind of taken care of for me. So that was a very positive move we made as far as moving the email out there.
So you were basically doing all your mail in-house before?
Not in my house, but, our contractor had it on their server.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Right.
And then, I don't know what it is about Gmail, but they're like the industry standard on catching spam and dealing with it. So.
They just got the better kind of tasting cheese, I think, that's all.
Maybe. So that's the cloud in a nutshell. And now, after some discussion, maybe I dumbed it down for you. Maybe you're scratching your head saying the hell with this and shutting the radio off. I don't know. But a little insight, and you're probably realizing now how much you got going on in the cloud. Listen, if you have a smartphone and you do a lot of stuff on it, play games and whatnot, you're on the cloud. You're on the cloud.
Oh, yeah.
And what's the scary thing about that? The scary thing is what happens when it all goes away. I imagine, I don't like to imagine this, but I imagine that a lot of the younger generation that did not grow up before all this may not even know how to live beyond 48 hours. I think they'll be jumping off of rooftops without their smartphones and their cloud.
It's funny, but just look at, in the old days, you had to remember telephone numbers because, you had them written down in phone books, actual phone books. Now, you say, Siri, what's, look up so-and-so. You don't know how to relate back to a non-technical world if you're a young adult or younger. You just can't relate to it the way that we used to. I mean, granted, when I grew up, when I was in grade school, we had the pencils, you had the rest on your shoulders, they were so big. And the lines were probably about a foot wide. But, now you don't even have to learn handwriting anymore. So you just point your mouse and click on your picture to sign into Windows.
Right.
If you have to click. You just sit down in front of the computer and says, "Hi, Joel, how are you?"
And how many people don't even know their own phone numbers because they don't need to know anymore? It's
Yeah.
their phone. I don't know my house number right off the bat.
I was just going to ask you that. You've got fires, and I bet you don't even know the phone number at the house. Yeah, see?
I know it starts with a 302. Yeah.
Well, most of Delaware starts that way, so.
All of Delaware.
Okay.
All right. So speaking of Google.
Yes.
Google has added some Star Wars makeover capabilities to some of their services. And some are, more noticeable than others. But, basically if you want to dress up, if you are a Google user, Gmail and whatnot, you want to dress it all up a little bit, you can have a little fun with it. So, Star Wars The Force Awakens coming out next month, just, a little more than 2 weeks, I think. Lucasfilm and Disney built a new tool that lets you theme out apps, including Gmail, YouTube, Google Maps, Chrome, and many more, with either the light side or dark side, based on your personal preference. The changes, once they take place, will appear across your devices, including iPhone, iPad, Android, Mac, Windows, and Chromebook, expect for Chrome, Gmail, and YouTube, which will only work on the desktop. So, effectively, a brand advertisement of sorts for the highly anticipated new film. Google says that the idea came about from a number of Star Wars fans at the company who wanted to work on a Google tribute to Episode VII as soon as they heard about the movie. So, there you have it. It's not just backgrounds and themes. Your Google Calendar will fill with Star Wars-related events, for instance. Google Maps, the Pegman, the street-level Pegman, becomes a First Order Stormtrooper or a Resistance pilot and flies to your destination in either a TIE fighter or X-Wing. C-3PO can offer you voice guidance in the mapping app Waze, where R2-D2 and BB-8 will also be featured. Elsewhere, standard load-in or seeking bars, like those found in YouTube and Gmail, turn into lightsabers. And even Google's virtual assistant, Google Now, gets filled with This Day in Star Wars History trivia. So, more stuff's on the way. Keep an eye out for that if you would. And may the Force awaken on your smart device. Ooh. And Tony sent me that over. But I did see that, I think, on TV this morning when I was half awake. So, there you have it. Have you tried it, Tony? Are you that into Star Wars? No?
No. I mean, I know we're both into the Star Trek side, but
yeah, and how come nobody's doing that? Damn it!
I don't know. But I just thought that for the people that that are more of a Star Wars type of fan, they might be interested in that as well.
Right.
That is pretty cool, though. Like, oh no, R2, we're lost. I said, well, that's what you get for using the built-in maps, app.
So I guess you watched the video
on the iPhone. No, but I just read through the article. But that's why you use Waze, people, because Waze does it the smart way. So,
have you used that?
Well, Waze.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to now with Uber because of the fact that most of the Uber drivers use the they have a driver app that has a built-in GPS, and the driver app for Uber does not track road closures or detours or anything like that, and especially coming through my neighborhood where they got all this road construction. I've got, in the morning going to my office, a lot of the drivers are like in the townhomes that are like 3 minutes away from my home if the road was open, but it's not, so they're like about 10 minutes away, and they're like, oh, cool, I'm 3 minutes away. And I'm like, oh, no, you're not. No, I got GPS. I'm good. I'm like, no, you're not. And then they say, no, watch, And I say, okay, when you call me and tell me you can't come through because the road's closed, I don't want to hear me say, I told you so.
Right.
So after about 3 years of riding Uber and sending constant emails to customer service, Uber has finally updated their app to allow the drivers to use either Google Maps or Waze as alternatives to the built-in GPS, and it's about goddamn time, people. And they still don't do it. So, it's like, no, I don't want to load another app on my phone. It'll crash the Uber app, and I'm like, oh, whatever,
Right.
So, but if anybody's listening that does use Uber and they get frustrated because the GPS lady doesn't tell you where to go, suggest that, and with Waze, the drivers even get reward points for using it. So, and it helps other drivers on the road too, because it's all real time. So, I don't know if you use it or not. Do you use it, Joel?
What?
Waze.
No.
You should. You should check it out. It's actually pretty cool.
I am going to check it out.
Yeah, I've heard that before. So.
I promise you I will check it out. Second Tuesday of next week, Tony.
Yeah, right, exactly. On major update day. Is that what it's
Oh, man. Anyway, so, folks, here's the thing. We're on the eve of Black Friday and Black Friday shopping and things like that. And then what comes after that? Cyber Monday.
Yes.
So remember, stay vigilant. Okay? When you're out and about, be safe. You see something, say something. You're out at night, go in groups. When you're shopping online, be secure. If a website offers you, double and triple, authentication versions of getting into their websites, do it. Take the extra time to do it. Keep your data safe. Keep your personal information safe. Do not respond to people that ask for personal information and account information by text or email or fax. Be very wary of that stuff. This is all for your own good, and I implore you to stay safe while you're out there shopping.
And also, be careful, too, with UPS and some of the other drivers. Make sure you track your packages, because with the holiday seasons coming up, this is the ideal time that people will be trying to steal your packages and your Christmas gifts. We don't want to see that happen to you either. So if you see something that doesn't look right, report it, tweet it to UPS and let them know. And if you can, tweet a picture of it too.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's another important thing about UPS. I mean, they're already backed up, and their service, as I've said on other shows, is getting crappier and crappier and crappier. So, anyway, so I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and be very safe out there. Be safe shopping online and out in the streets. Happy computing, everybody. Have a great holiday weekend. Be safe. We're going to catch you again next week, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern. Tech Talk Live. Good night, folks.